Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Rockstars of Ethereum, a show about the journey and amazing work people are doing in Ethereum and Web3 space as a whole, aka Rockstars of Ethereum. I'm Richa.
And I'm Harsh from Ethereum
Push Notifications Service.
So that was take 3, guys.
Yeah. Our guest today is very, very special to us. Someone who probably built and defined DeFi way before it became cool. A builder, former head of smart contracts at Maker Foundation, Web3 visionary, and now an angel investor. But more than that, one of the kindest, awesomest, and the most helpful people we have ever had the pleasure to meet. Excited to welcome and host Mariano Conti. Hey, Mariano, how are you doing?
Hello, Risha. Hello, Harsh. Thank you so much for having me and for that incredible introduction.
Awesome. So, Mariano, before we get started, we usually talk about our guests and how we met them. So how we met Mariano. Well, this seems like destiny. The awesome Mariano was actually one of the first church who saw our product, Ethereum Push Notification Service, as a proof of concept in Hack Money at Global 2020. And of course, after that, we kind of forgot about each other for 4-5 months. But then DeFi that reintroduced and reconnected us to him. And he basically sent an email out to us, which had that video clip from the hackathon Q&A. Well, people say you never forget your true love. Guess that's true for your hackathon judges as well.
No, that is totally true. I still remember that. That was yeah, I think it was one of the first projects that I judged that day, and I remember being extremely excited and yeah, I think it was like serendipity.
Yeah, and we were as nervous as we are today, but like, yeah, in a better place. So, Mariano, maybe I want to kick off by asking, if you can share a brief intro about yourself, not that you need one, but if you could share something about yourself and all the cool things that you're working on currently, which, the listeners might want to listen.
Yeah, of course. So I started in blockchain around 2015. I was collecting my salary in Bitcoin. This is because I live in Argentina, and capital controls and a crappy economy made it such that I couldn't accept a salary in dollars and I couldn't save in dollars. So Bitcoin was a great alternative. And that led me to discover Ethereum and getting into Ethereum very, very early, but mostly as a holder. I wasn't part of the community. I wasn't developing anything. That started in 2016 when I joined Maker. It was there wasn't a foundation yet. It was just a group of people building. It was amazing. This is before, there were barely any projects on Ethereum, and we were creating the first version of DAI, the single collateral DAI that everybody knew. So I was at Maker from 2016 until last year, 2020. So 4 years. I helped build Psi, helped build DAI, the first and second version of the Maker oracles, which were very influential. And late last year, I decided, well, 4 years, it's enough for me for a project. I think I want to do something else, explore different things. And I kind of naturally, expanded to investing in DeFi projects mostly because, I love the community. I know a lot of people that have been building, and, the ability to help them, it just felt very natural to me. So that is mostly what I've been doing. I have dabbled into maybe creating my own project. But that is still something that remains to be seen. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't.
Amazing. And we do have a question for that one, but I'll save it for later. So I want to know, Mariano, like, Ethereum today is not at all like how it was like back in 2016 when you're describing. And very interested in knowing what's the contrast that you see, from back then to now in the Ethereum ecosystem.
Yeah, there are so many things. One thing that I like to think about is lately a lot of people send me messages like, how can I start developing on Ethereum? How can I learn Solidity, for example? And I have a hard time answering those questions just because 5 years ago it was completely different, right? Now you have a bigger community, you have tutorials, you have a lot of different starting points that you can take. And back then it was extremely different. The community was a lot smaller. There was not as much documentation out there, so a lot of things was trial and error, or going over simple tutorials, or just asking point blank the people who were building things, right? I remember directly sending emails or tweets to the creator of Solidity, or trying to contact Vitalik at a conference because I had a question about something with the EVM, or and so things like that. It was and also you could almost keep in your head the entirety of the ecosystem. You could say, okay, this is pretty much everything that is going on, and I know everybody that is working on everything. And now it's completely different. It's I used to say that I stayed on that I just focused on Ethereum because I didn't have the bandwidth for everything else that was going on, outside other blockchains and everything. And now I cannot even keep up, within DeFi on Ethereum. You need to focus on really a subset of everything that's going on, because there's just so much. And then I would say those are, the main differences that I see. And of course, we have a working blockchain, a working ecosystem, a working financial services, right? Which we didn't have. So one of the good things is that now anybody who wants to get into, DeFi development, there's a whole suite of projects already there that you can build on top of. It's like, you don't need to reinvent certain things. They're already there. You can make new things better on top.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's really, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So just want to understand, even going further back, what was Awesome Mariano doing way before entering crypto, and what was the reason that you took that plunge and went down the rabbit hole?
So I studied the computer systems in college, but I never really held onto any particular job for long. I've always liked building, development, engineering, programming, but nothing really resonated with me, like deep down. So I lived in Mexico for a long time. That's where I went to college and everything, and held a couple of programming jobs there. Then I moved back to Argentina, and around the time that I discovered cryptocurrencies, I was working at a digital agency doing, PHP development and mobile apps and things like that, which weren't really interesting. But I was at a time in my life where I said, like, okay, this is like good enough for me. It's like I don't want to strive for anything more, and it's a good thing that I discovered all of this, because it turns out there was a lot more that I could offer,
Absolutely.
And yeah, the reason I took the plunge is just that I saw that this was transformational technology. I always stress this, but being from Argentina, actually living here in a country with 50% inflation, and suffering this kind of economic woes, and being able to use first Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then a decentralized stable coin that I helped build as a way to protect my finances, that opened my eyes to the fact that, yeah, we're building something amazing that is changing the world, right? So it wasn't that I was trying to use, DeFi of course it is for speculation, but it's a different kind, right? It's trying to give a lot of people around me access to services that they normally either they couldn't have, or it would be hard for them to acquire them. And seeing a community grow around it, the Argentinian community, specifically for, Maker and DAI, it grew so much because people found real use cases for it. And that is what told me, okay, you're in the right place, and keep doing what you're doing.
Amazing.
That's actually really, really amazing, Mariano. So people usually, when you go to cryptocurrency, most of the people, they really think that it's all about speculation. But you serve as an example to prove that it's not. It actually has changed lives, and it provides a better financial system. And that is something I really love about Ethereum. And if you look at the history, we as human beings, we have always kept on innovating. Even money has been innovated throughout the decades. So it's not like replacing money, but making a better version of money, or providing an alternative. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Mariano, talking about your work in MakerDAO, you talk about it so fondly. So would love to know, you were leading the smart contracts department there. So what was that experience like for you? Like, what were the things that you were doing that hadn't been done there? And how and who did you rely on there to confirm, the design that you are doing and everything that you wanted to do? So what was that journey like?
Well, leading the smart contracts team was probably the easiest job I ever had, because the people in the smart contracts team are probably some of the greatest developers in the ecosystem. So it's not like I had to do a lot. I mostly was in charge of, setting up meetings and calls, and then everybody did such an awesome job that it was mostly a dream job. Maker, the project was so big that we need to divide into several different teams. So when Maker started way back, there were two groups. There was Maker and there was dApp Hub, and a lot of the some of the best people that I know in this ecosystem, they founded dApp Hub. There was Nikolai Mushegian. He was a co-founder of Maker, and the architect of Maker, and also Balancer. There was Martin Lundfall, who went on to he's now in the Ethereum Foundation doing formal verification work. There were a lot of people that you don't hear a lot about them because some of them like to remain a little bit more anonymous. So, but there were these two teams, and one was building Maker, and the other team was building, not just, they were building tools for Ethereum development. DAppHub created tools, created Solidity libraries before Open Zeppelin even existed. And a lot of the people involved in DAppHub were the architects of, the Maker system, the single and then multi-collateral DAI. And I was a part of DAppHub as well as Maker for a long time. And so it was, you had people from both teams working, some on the design of Maker, some on the actual, development. Some built the core of the system, others built the periphery of the smart contracts around. And, when I did start leading the smart contracts team, most of the architectural work and the design was pretty much over. And my job was making sure that everything around it worked well. So, creating all the proxy contracts that interacted with the system, and, making sure that the audits came out okay. And if they didn't, fixing things, bug bounties, making sure any, keeping the system running. What else? There was so many things. It was, the only thing that I regret back then is that I personally didn't have a lot of time to program, of course. That was the one thing that was killing me a little bit. And in fact, I talked to the person right now who's holding my job at the Maker Foundation, and not gonna say their name, but when I was leaving, they asked me, so what's it gonna be like? And I said, okay, you should take the job, but it's gonna be a lot of meetings and it's gonna be less development work that you probably want. And 2 days ago, they just sent me a screenshot of their calendar, and it's way too many meetings. And it's like, so when do you sit down and program? And it's like, sad face. Yeah, not a lot of time for that. So I don't know if I answered your question or I just gave you a story, but
an amazing story.
Yeah, a lot of insights into how, time was at Maker. So maybe that was basically the past. So want to hear about the current Mariano. So there are rumors that you're working on something very cool and new. So do you want to give a glimpse of the future on what you're working on?
Oh, I don't know if I should, because I have been working on 2 different projects with somebody, a really close friend of mine from the ecosystem. But there are days when, we want to work a little bit more on project A, and then certain days when we want to work a little bit more on project B. And I feel like lately I've been a bit out of focus on, just pick one and go with it and finish it. So I don't know. I think I need like a jolt of energy to finish one or the other. But of course, they're DeFi related and always running on Ethereum, which is
yeah. Cool. I would really appreciate you sharing that. The project A and project B, let's call them that for now.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Mariano. And just like I know that you mentioned that, you didn't get to develop and code that much. So maybe your piece of advice for the new builders who are coming in the ecosystem, coming out of hackathons, entering the space, if you have to give them an advice, what would that be?
Well, it has never been, I don't think there's ever been a better time to join the Ethereum ecosystem. Like I said, there is so much out there. I often recommend, going to ETH Global Hackathons because I recommend their Discord. There's a lot of like-minded hackers, a lot of them new ones. You can learn from them together. You can build something or try to build something in a weekend, or there are many paths of entry right now to the Ethereum ecosystem. One thing that I like is when I see people building a small proof of concept on top of another protocol, either they designed a better interface, or they designed a new way to interact with, I don't know, the smart contracts, or to do a little bit more than what a normal UI will let you do. And then, those projects get, if they're good enough, they get noticed by founders of this teams, because, you have the biggest DeFi protocols in the world, billions of dollars, and the founders are one tweet away, right? Almost everybody is extremely accessible. And, I've seen a lot of people do that and then get hired by some of the big projects, or they go the separate route and they create something of their own. But you will always have people to look and use your projects if they're good enough. So my recommendation is usually this: to either try to find a hackathon and build something, or just first you need to understand how DeFi works and use some of the different protocols, and then find one that you like and expand it a little bit, or build a cool service on top of it. It's all permissionless, it's all open. That is the beauty of what we do.
That's some solid advice, Mariano. And we know it's true. I mean, we went through that phase. So for all the builders out there, if you want Mariano to be your next judge, then you guys know what to do. All right. So moving to judging and going away from intro questions a bit, Mariano, I always wanted to ask, but could never ask, what is the beverage you keep on sipping? It's been with that beverage all the time, and I need to know.
This is mate, M-A-T-E. So it is a South American beverage. Argentinians will say it's Argentinian. Uruguayans will say it's from Uruguay. People from Paraguay will say it's from Paraguay, but it's probably from all three. It's sort of like a tea. So it's Yerba Mate leaves, and you pour hot water and you drink it through, there's like a straw, a metal straw. So you pour some water, you drink, pour a little bit more water, drink. And it's like a caffeinated tea. And in Argentina, we drink it a lot. I drink it a lot. And it's supposed to be a social beverage. So, and now with a world filled with, with a pandemic going around, a lot of people, like, this is being lost. But the idea is that this is supposed to be shared among friends. So if we three were having this conversation in person, then I would be pouring some water, giving this to you. You would drink it, give it back to me. I would pour again, give it to Risha. Then I would pour and drink myself, and then give it to you again. So it is a social drink. It is not just drinking the mate. It's almost like a ritual thing. That is being lost a little bit, just because now it is not recommended, to everybody to drink from the same straw. And even when there was no pandemic, I always bring my mate to DEF CONs and Ethereum events, and some people would find it so weird that I would share. It's like, what, I'm gonna drink from the same straw as you? And it's like, yeah, that's tradition.
That's
and
amazing story.
We used to have an ETH bounties I think there was 5 DAI for anybody who found me at a hackathon and took a selfie with the mate. We would give them 5 DAI.
That's awesome. The next DEF CON, I am going to get that 5 DAI. That's for sure. And
you got it. Hopefully that's going to be Colombia this year. I'm praying.
Awesome. Yeah. And yeah, the concept of shared beverage is actually also common in India. So friends, they sometimes share their beverage, hot beverage, tea mostly. And it's also supposed to be a social drink. So I think we can relate.
That's perfect.
Awesome. And now I know about that beverage. This is a good interview. All right. So moving to DeFi, Mariano. I mean, DeFi is amazing and it has amazing innovations. But on the flip side, I also see some projects coming in which are like DeFi protocols. That just means slapping DeFi onto themselves and to become relevant. But on the flip side, whenever, or have you seen any surprises or hidden gems or projects that people don't know about yet, that they should, but they are kind of hidden right now?
Well, that's a good question. And I would say that for the past month or so, I've been using DeFi a little bit less than, for example, DeFi summer, where it was crazy and I was doing tens of transactions a day. Right now, there are a couple of projects that I find interesting. I like Alchemix. I like the idea of taking out a loan that pays for itself, even though it's weird, right? It's almost like a feature that could be added on top of several different protocols. But in this case, it became like its own whole project and ecosystem, which I find interesting because that could be the next thing. It's like take one feature that makes other projects better and just make it a whole project. Then aside from that, there are a couple of projects that are in stealth that I'm hoping will come out soon.
Are they
and
project?
then me. No. And me personally, I still use, for example, I always have a Maker Vault open, and I've been using. I love DeFi Saver. It's I used it to refinance my vault from one type of ETH to another. So it's like needs to be more collateralized but pays less interest. And it was one click. It's crazy good how good the interface has become. But other than that, it's like I'm on a little bit of a DeFi break in terms of using everything. Also, because of gas fees, that is crazy. One of the sad things to see was for all the work we did in Argentina to onboard people to Ethereum and everything that I mentioned before, it is sad seeing so many of them moving to Binance, for example, right? Because they are priced out of Ethereum fees. And then to what you were asking, I don't consider the Binance Smart Chain DeFi per se, right? Decentralized. It's a bunch of validators, running a version of Geth. That to me is not the decentralization that we want. But I cannot fault them for wanting to try something different. That right now it is the fees are cheaper. That is of course the thing. So I'm mostly excited to see the whole swath of L2s coming soon, or the ones that already exist, hopefully, becoming more popular, so we can fix this.
I couldn't agree more, Mariano. And speaking of that, what's your favorite layer 2 solution, and why?
I don't know if I have a favorite yet. I am somewhat informed, but not an expert. The things that I've actually used, I've used CK Sync for Gitcoin grants. It worked really, really well, really, really well. It's I remember I funded my account one day late at night when gas was somewhat cheap, and then on the CK Sync side, it was incredibly fast. I really like that. I never tried the Optimism, the synthetics bridge, so I never tried that, but I've been reading a lot about Optimism, and I like the way they're doing things. I like the the compiler, that it's somewhat easy to bridge between one and the other. And then I don't know. Like I said, CK rollups on the other side, they are probably better in some things, like for terms of withdrawing money from L2 back to L1, but I still need to read a little bit more and see a little bit more. I haven't personally developed on any of those, so no favorites yet. Of course, what Matic Polygon has been doing. I'm really good friends with Mihailo from Polygon, and I like that they're coming up with pretty much every solution under the umbrella. Some are L2, some are sidechains, of course, but always having Ethereum as the main blockchain. So I don't know. Don't have a favorite one yet. Hopefully, I'll be able to use all of them soon, and I don't think any one of those is going to win properly. I think there is room for several. I don't know if there's room for 10, 15 of them. Maybe there's going to be a shelling point that it's 2 or 3. But I feel like we're on the brink of a new explosion of usage, right? Once we get a lot of protocols into some of these L2s, whether it's when Uniswap v3 launches and Optimism launches, if the liquidity is there, probably the rest of the protocols will follow, and then we'll see. Maybe ends up being that Optimism does win, just for the fact that if every DeFi protocol goes there, then that is what makes Ethereum good right now, right? It's that every protocol is there and the liquidity is there.
Yep. I mean, to me, ZK Sync, the type of user experience they had in Gitcoin Grant, that was quite good. Without changing network, without doing anything that might hamper the user experience, they were able to get the entire flow done. So, kudos to them to making it work. Right, we touched upon Uniswap v3, and I already have it in my list of questions, Mariano. So you dig into the Uniswap v3 contracts. We were following the tweets. We kind of stalk you on tweets, in case you don't know that. Yeah. So tell us about the Uniswap v3 contracts. How awesome it was. What are the cool new features or any gotchas you noticed?
So first off, yeah, it's completely different from V2. For example, Uniswap V1 to V2, it was Viper to Solidity and a couple of other things, but overall the architecture was the same. V3 is an entire different beast. It's first off, a lot of the math is in square root space, which already for me that was that was something to I started reading and then had to go back to the white paper immediately to read that first and make sense of everything. It is still extremely elegant, and but it's like very advanced. It's for somebody who wants to become a better Solidity developer, it's, I think, like a must read. Not only the core contracts, the periphery contracts, the testing, the fuzzing, everything that they've done is just an incredibly elegant project. But you know, it is quite advanced. And you know, a lot of the things that I like, it's you know, what they've made public, that now liquidity can be concentrated into you know, the different price points, so you can do a lot of interesting things with that. To me, honestly, what I expect to see, what I'm most excited about B3 is that it is almost, and I believe I talked to Hayden either early this year or last year about this, that Uniswap B3 I see like very close to the metal. You know, it's as close to an Ethereum protocol as anything, like a DeFi primitive, and then seeing things built on top of it, because there are gonna be a lot of projects built on top. It's B3 is still, and unless you know, Uniswap comes out with their own interfaces to do a lot of these things, but from what I can tell, they're expecting the community to build a lot of things on top of it, right? So the auto compounding of fees, that is not in V3, because liquidity is not fungible anymore. It's if you put in liquidity and I put it in, it's unless we do it via the same smart contract, you know, like a proxy contract in between, then our liquidity is not fungible. But that's where I think a lot of projects are going to come in between and build these services. So that is, I would say, what I'm mostly excited about, to see what a large ecosystem can be built on top of this, you know, foundational protocol. Oh, and also I was so excited about V3 that I joined the Pleaser DAO to buy the People Pleaser NFT of the V3 announcement video.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I can say like 30 seconds of it. So on Friday, a friend of mine sent me a DM saying, "Hey, do you want to pool, you know, Ether between a lot of people, and we can buy this NFT?" And I said, "Yeah, for sure." And then I forgot. I went out with the rest of my day, and when I looked again, the DAO had won the NFT for 310 Ether, and it had some Ether to spare. And the money is all going to charity. Yeah. So
that's amazing.
That was a good experience. Yeah. So, and just happy to own like a fraction of that NFT, which I think is historic.
I agree, Mariano. I mean, I was thinking about that price points, or, you know, concentration points, and do you that will enable stop loss in trades, which is something which is, I mean, very hard to do so far for DEXs, as far as I know.
Yeah, and it's almost like you can put limit orders, right? If you just or very close to limit orders, if you concentrate your liquidity in just one tiny bucket, and you can create, you know, different curves. Like I said, there's going to be markets that are specialized for stable coins. I also want to see how liquidity mining evolves, because projects can now, for new tokens, incentivize mining on certain price points. So they can say, yeah, okay, if you provide liquidity, you get X, but if you provide on this part of the curve, you maybe get 2X, and on this part, it could be riskier, but maybe you get 5X. So I do think that that there are going to be a lot of things enabled just with the B3 protocol.
Yep. A lot more game theories and a lot more innovation going to happen. And awesome. So Mariano, we actually touched upon NFTs. Right now, NFTs are like the hottest thing. SNL covered it. So it was DeFi, then it was NFT. What do you think the next trend is going to be?
Hopefully a mix of the two with some DAOs sprinkled on top. A lot of people have been focused mostly on the artistic side of NFTs, which is great, but I want them to harness the power of programmability, right? Hoping that we can take everything that we have and, mush it all together and create new things, but taking advantage of everything that we've learned so far. That is also one thing. I, being in the space so long, and there's people who've been around longer, so they probably see this as well. I hate, and this is why I always like telling the stories of the past. So a lot of people that joined later don't make, the same mistakes that people before did, right? It's like you can already hit the ground running and make many cool things. Just avoid some of the mistakes, or eventually maybe you'll have to make the same ones to learn. But hopefully every time it gets easier, because we can learn from what we did wrong. And
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, that's how we evolved. So right from the very beginning. So that's a solid piece of advice. Mariano, on advice part, you have been angel investing, and we are so honored to have you, by the way. Again, it connects back to the destiny. So what has the experience been like when you basically ventured into angel investing part?
Well, when I started, I had no idea what I was doing. I just, I said, I think this would be something interesting. I want to leverage, the fact that I know people in the community, with the fact that, I don't have a day job anymore, but I still want to be participating in the Ethereum community. So I said, okay, angel investing seems like a really good thing to do. And I just, I just dove in. I started sending messages to projects that I liked, and I said, hey, I'm investing now, and if you're interested in either taking my money or my advice or both or whatever I can do, I would be happy to do it. Sometimes investing in friends, sometimes investing in technology that you want to see exist. Sometimes it's just, a flip of the coin saying, okay, maybe not. And that's mostly been it. I think I've invested in like 25 to 30 projects today. Talking to people in this, they say that that's the thing. You cannot win them all. But if I made, like, for you specifically, Harsh and Risha, you guys, you fit all the criteria. It's like people that I like, building something that is not out there that I want there to be, and that was a no-brainer for sure.
Thanks. done, Mariano. So yeah, this was really, really awesome, Mariano. One thing we didn't tell you was that these were not all the questions. These were the questions that you sort of knew about, but Richa has prepared something what we like to call a rapid fire round. Richa will explain the rules, and all the best.
Cool. So let's do this. Cool. So Mariano, like really simple, fun, simple questions. We'll go super fast, maybe take 5-10 seconds, and just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay.
Got it.
Let's get started. Okay. So if blockchain didn't exist, you would be doing what?
I always wanted to be a film director.
Wow. Is that a hobby, like photography or movies?
Yeah. So movies are a hobby of mine. When I was 18, it was either studying engineering or film school, and I decided on engineering, but was really close to going to film school.
Wow, amazing. Your favorite drink?
If it is non-alcoholic, mate. Alcoholic, probably Fernet with Coke or beer.
Great. Complete the sentence without using the word die. I'm not stable, but my...
Sai is? Oh, that was such a cop-out. Oh, and Sai is not stable anymore. So that was a bad answer.
No, that's a perfect answer. Your next hackathon idea for builders out there?
I want to see something with NFTs. I want to see more. I want to see more money markets for NFTs. I know a lot of people that have their NFTs and they want to loan them or they want to do something with them, not just like having some active way that they can use them for DeFi.
Yeah, nice. What's the best piece of advice you have ever received?
I think the best one was everybody tells you to go on and follow your dreams, and that was really good. But somebody actually once told me I was going down a road that really wasn't good for me, and this person told me that it is sometimes okay to just relax and take a step back and figure out that you can have more than one dream in life. It's like, even though you think you want to do something for the rest of your life, you know, lives are long and dreams can.
Solid advice. I see that. Yep. What makes you nervous?
I would say my health. I just turned 40, so I'm about to go on a midlife crisis of sorts.
We wish you all the best health and great health. If Satoshi gave you access to his wallet's private key, what could you do with those funds?
I would probably just, I would move like one sat over and over every day. Like I would probably not move the bulk of it. I would just like play with people's minds.
Yeah.
At first, then at some point I would maybe spend a lot of it.
Yep, move it to Vitalik.net.
Yeah, exactly. I would buy Ether with it.
Awesome. So what is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the following words? DAI?
Stability.
DAI or Piso? Your pick?
DAI or?
Piso? Argentinian
Oh,
Piso.
yeah. No, always DAI.
No brainer for you.
Yeah.
DevCon?
Friends.
Yay. Yes. Argentina?
Complicated.
Awesome. Your top 3 projects of Ethereum.
My top 3. Maker, Uniswap, and I don't have a third one. Third one would be an amalgamation of everything else.
Okay, we'll take that. And finally, Mariano, what does Ethereum mean to you?
Ethereum means so many things. It's friendship, it's community, it's something that changed my life. It hopefully means the future of finance, and you know, it's a party where all my friends are, and I hope that it remains that way for long. It's something that everybody needs to help to make it a little bit better every day. And sure, it's not perfect, but we're all working towards, we'll have a common goal with it. So yeah, it is my way of life.
That was really, really awesome, Mariano. Thank you so much for joining us. And me and Rich, I agree. I mean, Ethereum innovation happens on Ethereum. And not only innovations, I mean, friendship and relations, they are built on Ethereum. So yeah, I don't think that will ever go away. We have seen that personally. And we have awesome you and a whole lot of other peeps to thank you for that. Well, that's about it, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show with awesome Mariano Conti. Stay awesome, guys. Bye for now.